This is how to build a dream. In a world where he is faced with complex medical issues, one man is forced to redefine himself. He has plans to get healthy, plans to live, learn, grow, and love. He created a YouTube channel about doing things he enjoys and are good for his mind, body, and spirit. He dreams of becoming an actor someday, but also a better human being in the process. This YouTube channel is about positivity. He has big plans, but for now, it's all about things that make him happy. This is how to build a dream.
We also went to the salvage yard and picked up a new box, new to me. The tailgate right there, so we'll put that where the tailgate goes. Originally he had the tailgate opening this way with a little flat thing down here that had cutouts for the lights and then a license plate right in the middle, and that's the flat part, and then chains hooked on here. So we're going to clean this up, and we're going to put it on temporarily now so that we can get home from Stacy's parents' house. We got a 3-hour drive, and then I'll take it off and grind it all down, paint it up nice, and put some new lights on. But it's a nice homemade custom box that I got for $200, and it was on a Toyota. So the Ranger, I don't know if you can see it, but it's on the other side of that big, beautiful Dodge Ram. Trailer's just over here. We're basically done for right now. We're gonna bring it home and finish it all up there. We still have a fair amount to do. I'll take you over there in a second, but right now we're working on the new box. This is going to be the box that we're going to put on. The old one is down right there on that trailer. So we're going to take that and the box liners inside it. We're going to put this on the truck, the Ranger, and we're going to put that box, the old box, on this one, strap it down, and bring it back to Antigonish with us. But this is going to be the new box, I think. I haven't quite decided what we're going to do with it. We think we have a tentative plan right now. If I end up keeping the truck for a while, I might make it into a dump box, but as of right now, we're just going to use it as is. It's upside down right now. Obviously, this is going to be the headboard. These are the sides. This is going to be underneath. These are going to be the tail lights. I'll get new tail lights and wire them up. But this is the tailgate that goes on. These are just holes so that you can see the lights through them, the tail lights. And then these guys are the license plates, and then the license plate will go in between here. We took it off a Toyota at Ambrose Zink's auto salvage and repair just outside of Bridgewater in Chelsea. You can tell, I don't know if you can tell actually on the camera, but whoever had it last cut this out in the wrong spot and then obviously put it back in. There's a hinge there and a hinge there. I'm getting wet. And these ribs don't quite line up with, like, the support rails don't quite line up with the frame rails on the truck. So we're going to get, well, the tentative plan is we're going to get the same size square tubing, and we'll put it where the rails go. There's about a 8 to 10 inch gap, so like the frame rails sit somewhere along here. So we'll just run the exact same thing up here. We could take these and move them over, but this is just going to add additional support. There's only one cross beam that goes across. You can see it. And then this guy is where the fuel line goes to the gas tank. It's upside down right now. It's actually on the wrong side. I don't know if you can tell from this angle or not, but this actually interrupts the flatbed because it's inside on the deck. So we're actually not going to do the same setup, and what we're going to do is we're going to fabricate something to house the fuel line, and the fuel line will actually come out below the deck. We still have to figure out all the measurements and how high we want the deck to sit, but this is not the first bucket of rust. We're taking off with the Ranger. There she is. Or there he is. So the only real issue is like this cross member just in here rusted out a little bit, and the same thing on that side. Not a huge issue right now. When we dropped the wheel, the cable works. We sprayed some rust stuff in there just to kind of get us on. The plan is we're gonna spray it down with a whatever we call that, pressure washer, get all the scale off, and then we'll put some rust protectant of some sort, probably the red stuff, on there, and then we'll let that soak in for a few months, and then we'll actually get it undercoated. Have to get another key cut too. There is the one that we put in. So the rust is actually coming from the door, which I need to fix at some point, but we're just trying to get it inspected at this point. We didn't go crazy trying to make sure that it was the showroom finish or anything like that, obviously. We just put some body fill on it to cover that seam that we had done earlier. We threw some rock guard on the bottom, basically from here down, and then I have to get some asphalt or asphalt tar or whatever it is and put it on the seam that goes all the way along on the back side of the inner rocker. And I still have to hook up the wiring here and the wiring in here, but I'll do that when we get home. It's all functional. It's packed full of tools and stuff right now, but it's all functional. I also have to hook up the seat belt. I'm not sure which seat belt it is. I think it's the middle, yeah, because the seat belt's here. So the middle person seat belt still has to be hooked up. Well, the other thing is, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is some holes, some big holes that they might have had plugs for at one point, but they're giant holes. So I think there's 2 or 3, and then one up here that I might plug with sheet metal or something. I'll try to get you a good video of this side when we do it, which might not be for a bit, but this kind of gives you an idea what we're going to be working with. This is actually really good because on the outer there basically is none. I don't know if my key's in the way, but you can tell that there's not a whole lot there. That's the cab corner, or what's left of it. I don't know which side's worse. I haven't really checked this out yet, but we are assuming that we got to replace some of the floor pan as well. We might actually be able to get this on the road. So this is the fuel line that's going to sit probably somewhere around here, and then the deck will sit right here, somewhere around there. The trick is to try to get this at the right angle so that your fuel nozzle, when you're putting fuel in. It doesn't kick out on you all the time, so that's going to be the tricky part. But we did snag part of that from the Toyota that we took the box off of. Everything else looks pretty good, so we get it all cleaned up. But here, I don't know if we took video of it or not, but this kind of gives you an idea of the leaf springs. So basically, this second one from the bottom was broken off somewhere around here, and we only had half of it. I think it's over there right now. I'll try to remember to grab it and show you. So these are the leaf springs. You can see where they broke off in relation to the center bolt. Completely severed. And the other one is very, very similar. Here's our little pile of steel here. But Ken was nice enough to give me some that he had lying around, I think from an old CJ, a Jeep CJ. And the same thing on this side, the exact same leaf in almost the exact same area was broken, and Ken gave me the other one as well. So we put this guy in. So I think in order to get it inspected, right now we just need to put a CV axle in the driver's side front. We need to obviously put a box on, although that wasn't a huge concern. We just got a really good deal on that new box. We picked it up for $200. So we need to do the CV axle, the rocker panels, inner and outer on the driver's side. We may or may not need to do that cab corner as well. And there's I can't show you right now, but there's a piece of the subframe goes across, I think it is, right basically in the middle, and a little bit on the driver's side. There's a couple holes on the driver's side of the subframe that have to be fixed as well. And I think that is it. Also, this is the fender. I can't really show you the finishing touches, but it's obviously not showroom quality, but it's very secure and very usable. Ken and I fabricated this piece and the piece underneath, got it all secured in there. Same thing with the flare. I think that was sticking out a little bit. One of the projects we'll have to do, as you can tell, there's a little bit of a lean right here. That seam is a lot closer than this seam. So I don't think the truck doesn't seem to be slanted itself. Ken and I were talking about it, and he thinks, and I agree with him, that something is off with this bumper, especially considering that there is a bolt right here. So we'll have to go investigate that further. But right now our main concern is just getting it inspected on the road. We had to use a temporary permit in order for us to drive it up here from our town to where Stacy's parents live. And Stacy's dad was nice enough to not only let me use his garage and some of his tools, but a lot of his time and expertise. He's been, I'd say helping, but he's been doing a lot more than just helping. So it gives you an idea. The tailgate, I don't know if you can see it or not, but these are the tailgate stops. He actually had it hinged at the top. So the tailgate, remember this is upside down, the tailgate will go this way. I'm not sure why, but we're gonna obviously reverse it so that the tailgate will come down. And then, you know, this is where the chain from the tailgate would hitch onto. He had it all welded up. We're actually gonna put some type of removable link in there. We picked this up for $200. He had, these were up front close to the cab. So these were actual mounts, pretty heavy duty and long, just the way that the frame rail goes. These were actually really long mounts, and he had a really small short one for this guy, and same thing on that side as well. But like I said, we're gonna basically take these. The original plan was to take those and move them in closer to each other so that we could line up with the truck frame rails, because the truck frame rails aren't quite this wide. So we were going to bring these in. But we've decided, I think, at least tentatively, that we're going to leave these as they are. We're going to buy 2 more exactly like them and run them down so that we can also pick up some thicker square tubing. We'll get the measurements and we'll bolt the bigger square tubing. Well, we're going to put a flat piece on the bottom with we'll drill a hole in the bottom of the bottom plate, and then we're going to cut out a little window close to the bottom plate, and then that's going to be our leg or our point or mount, if you will, and the window will be inside respectively so that we can just bolt it into the frame, but the window allows us to get the wrench or the socket in there and take the bolts out if we ever want to remove the deck. And then at some point I might make it into a dump trailer, but right now this is our plan, so we'll see what actually happens. It's not bad for $200. This is what I was going to show you earlier, is you can actually see it's quite thick. The actual decking plate is very thick for the size of the truck. The other thing we might do is take angle iron or square tubing, take this whole unit out with the spare tire and the entire cross member, and just run either square tubing or angle iron across both of these. So 2 pieces, one here, one here. Take that out, including the spare tire, but then I'll take the spare tire and mount it onto here on the inside of the box. So we have options. The other thing you could do is mount it on the exterior of the box as well. The other thing that Ken mentioned that I really like is, if you picture this is upside down, right? So this is the bottom of the trailer, but what I might do sooner rather than later is fabricate some type of rack that goes across and it's long enough to hold them, and that way we can take our ramps that we already have them made up for the trailer, but we can slide them in and it'll actually hold the ramps. We can clamp them in or whatever, and that way if we ever use four-wheeler or the lawnmower, we can actually just take them out, hook up the ramps, way to go. So today we're basically just, it's raining and not a lot is open. Today the focus is taking the rest of those mounts off. Tomorrow is going to be measuring the distance, because the frame rail kind of goes like this. We want it to go level all the way across. So we're going to measure the distance for the 2 mounts that go here and the 1 mount that goes here. And remember, we're using square tubing as our mounts. And we'll put them vertical. We'll weld them to the frame of the bed, and we'll bolt them to the frame of the truck. So tomorrow is measurements. So on Monday we're going to buy the steel and hopefully get everything cut there, just for ease and time, because we're going to be heading back to Ingonish Tuesday morning. Stacy works Wednesday. Yeah, and then once we get home, we'll do the CV axle, we'll do that rocker panel. I might stop at a salvage yard either Monday or Tuesday and grab another rocker, because the driver's side one that we took off at the Zinks salvage yard, there's obviously not much to it. It's in pretty rough shape as well. And we might be able to patch it up, we might be able to fabricate something, we might be able to Frankenstein it together, but for $70 I can go get hopefully a good one, a good used one. If I have to, I can use this as a template or piece all three of them together or whatever I need to do, but for 70 bucks I might stop and cut one out. Then when we get home, we'll take this off of the truck again. We'll spray the truck down, spray this down with a pressure washer, let it dry. We'll take the wire brush and take all the steel, the loose rust off, and we'll coat it with the red rust stuff. And then we will let that sit for a few months, and then we'll get it all undercoated. So we're using a laser level, and we're going to try to get the box to sit level with the frame rails, but the frame rails have a bubble in them here, so we got to measure these two and these two. Show these two here. And all we're going to do is take a measurement to try to get it level with the top part of the rail. Just to see how much material we need to buy tomorrow. Because we're going to use steel tubing or C-channel for legs that the bed is going to sit on. So we'll weld the legs to the bottom of the bed, and then we'll bolt the square tubing on.
As good as if I go down anymore, I'm going to hit the rail.
Yeah, as long as it's closed.
See?
Yeah. There, I think that's perfect.
You just need measuring tape. There's an inch.
Yep.
Oh, a little about an inch.
Like a smudge higher, like an inch and a quarter.
What's the next one?
I'm gonna write that down before I forget.
Now you want to go up though.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you.
The best thing to do is I'll crank it up.
Well,
Whatever you want.
So, because it's got to come up, so we're not measuring to this, we're measuring to where we want the thing to sit, right? Like the bottom of the bed. Okay, so 4 inches will put us. Do you have like a stick or a. What's that right there?
I got ruler.
Yeah, give me that for a second. I just want to try to get an idea of what it's going to look like. Like 4 inches, I don't think would look ridiculous, but I also don't think, like 7 sits way up here. But that would also give me enough room to put ramps in. You know what I mean? How ridiculous does that look? Because it'd be a little lower because of all the stuff that's under.
Let me take the laser up
Okay.
to the full height
7
of your
inches.
deck, what your deck would be. So
Bottom of the.
the flat of the deck.
Yeah.
So are you saying 7 inches to the top of the deck or underneath, right? You got about an inch and something thickness of
yeah,
deck.
yeah. Let's. Sorry, Stacy. Will you give us 4 minutes?
should have
So 2.5, right? Pretty close.
That's where it'll lay, right?
Yeah.
So I think you're pretty close. 2 3/8
Okay.
thickness.
Yeah.
So you take that. That's your top height. So if you're on 7, clearance, you gotta add on 2 and see where it comes on the back of the truck. Right?
So, but if we go top of the deck at 7, the deck sits right here.
That's what we gotta decide. What's the best?
Because we can always cut it down. You know what I mean?
So you know your deck is 1 3/8, right? Width.
Yeah.
So if you go 7, 8 3/8, that gives you a 7-inch.
That's
And
no.
I can
It'll
put
be
the
9.
laser up to
It would
that,
be
right?
9 3/8.
8 3/8. It's only a min. Oh, it's a 2. Oh,
2 3/8. That's the first one I showed you, which I feel like
I'd
is
go
way
back
too
to
high.
6.
So if we go 7 inches minus 2 3/8, you'd be at like 4, 4, call it 4.5. Right there. Because then your deck,
Deck's going up another 2.5.
yeah, your deck would be sitting right here, which I think is,
And you can always shim up if you want to go higher.
yeah.
I don't know if any videos show recommended. I thought he said he went up 4.
I don't know which video you're talking about.
One of them, I thought.
I'm gonna call it at 4.5.
Plus 2.
Plus, well, 4.5 will hit that rib,
Yeah.
and then
so
your
that
deck will
was-
sit right here at 7. Right? Any qualms about that? That'll still give us 4 inches of clearance. I don't feel like I'm gonna have anything that heavy.
There is another way to do that too. You can always shim your springs. Go get longer U-bolts. Raise her up.
Like lift it?
Yeah. The whole truck would lift. Like my truck is lifted.
Yeah.
If you were to put in here
Yeah.
the lift, then this bumper, everything goes up, and you can keep this distance
Where do you put the lift?
underneath the.
Under this guy here?
Yep. So that the axle stays, but the rest of her goes up.
Huh. And you can do that?
I don't know how much you could do on the back without having to adjust your front. I think you could come up. She'll do this, right?
Yeah.
To some degree. But
Yeah.
you could bring it up 2 inches, I think.
Like a hockey puck.
And then you do that up on the body too if you wanted to.
Just
everything will come
hockey
together.
pucks everywhere.
So we'll keep it to a minimum.
I like 4.
4 is
And a
gonna give you
half.
quite a gap back here, right?
Well, 4.5. But your deck is gonna sit. Your deck will sit here. But that gives, because the other thing we gotta remember is
That's
like
why you had that hanging
the
plate
lights.
to cover the back,
So we should measure that.
right? That's probably why you had that. To cover that gap.
Just over 8.5. I call it 8.5 plus 2 because I don't know what it actually is called. 8.5 plus 2 sticks.
Eight and a half plus 2
Yeah.
sticks.
Yeah. Right there. Oh, we lost her. That's close right there. I'm gonna call that perfect. Okay.
Now you see where the bottom of your
now-
deck is. There's 7 1/4. That's 7 1/4
That's,
travel that you'll have.
6, and that's just below 7.
Is it?
Yeah.
So you'll have close to 7 inches of wheel travel. So look on the cab where the flat deck's gonna be. See the dot?
Yeah.
That's where your deck's gonna hit.
Yeah.
Measure from there up on your deck out there and see how much sticks up over your roof.
Isn't that really high?
No, it depends how much load you want to put on it.
Oh, so it's like clearance so it can sink it down?
$12.38. So it'll sit almost perfect.
Up top of your deck could be up there.
Yeah. The headboard
Down
there.
a little bit.
Like that's that top
Yeah,
part?
like the headboard.
Okay.
Like those steel bars out there.
Yeah,
If you
so that
don't
one
like
that
it.
goes across will be at the top.
You can always cut it back down.
I think I like it because this is gonna the back. I'm not so worried about because the deck's here, which is at perfect
Now you
height,
got that flat.
and then the back won't look silly because it's
And
got
then the
that
lights will
door.
have to be on there somewhere instead of hanging down.
The only thing that might look silly is from the side angle, but I don't think it's that bad because it's gonna sit right here. I think that's almost perfect.
This tire is a little bit below your frame.
Are your
Yeah.
other tires bigger?
I don't think so.
No, they'd be the same size.
Okay.
Is that what we're
I was
going to go
curious.
for?
I'm calling it right now. I'm doing it. Don't second guess it.
Because that's pretty close there, so you can take your 4 measurements.
As long as we're, I mean,
That-
if we're off a couple of millimeters, we can
Sure.
make the difference. Yeah.
The thing is that flap, right? Will that flap fit down there? You wanted to
Well, that's what I'm
to either
saying.
go
So-
down a little bit, you could have it hang, as long as you got a way to fasten it.
Well, and as long as the deck is.
That's why you have it pivoted the way you did.
I think the deck. What did we say the deck was? 6 feet.
Yes.
So yeah, you could have a hang.
We don't have to go right up to the cab, right? You come back an inch. That was a 72.
Yeah, something like that.
You can come back. Depends how close you want it to your.
I don't know if it was exactly 6 feet. I think that's perfect.
I'd say they're going to be the same on both sides. Once you get one, you get them both.
Okay, so you tell me what.
Total distance?
Yeah.
What that is, that's. I'd say you just go with 7 3/4. Yeah, see, that's 8 1/4.
8 1/4
Yeah. So it's a 1/2 inch change from here to there.
times 2.
Everything's times 2. Now you're back down to
7.5?
7 1/4. So it's another 1/2 inch change. 8 1/2.
10.
I have to call that one 10 1/2, so the one on the underside of it. But then you need the length of the rail that you're going to put in there. Subtract that off these totals, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Whatever size you end up with. If you're going with a
Wait now.
But your plan, see,
Yeah.
are you planning the rail? Or are you going to weld to your narrow rails?
We're gonna put those square
Yeah, I would
tubing,
think,
but we're gonna add them. So there's 2 on there, right?
yeah. But
We're
they're
gonna-
going to come down, right? Whatever you get, you'll have to subtract off these totals.
I don't think so because
Oh, you don't-
there's two on there. We're gonna buy 2 the exact same and put them closer. So there's this.
C channel, and you can adjust the, like you can get 1.5 C channel, 2 inch, 1.5 inch, which is, this is inch, I think. That's 1.25 inch. If you can get a C channel and
2 by
2 by inch,
that would be perfect.
so they'll give you 1.5 inch height.
Yeah.
So you could add the C channel. You can add it on the flat. You can flip it.
Yeah. So the C will look like this.
Nope, the other way.
This way.
Yeah. And just tack it.
And then if we get it by inch, it'll be the same height as this, so we won't have
If
to
you could
subtract
find it by an inch. But, so you're getting 1.5 inch You want 1.5 inches to match your. It wouldn't matter to match them.
No.
So we could even go a little smaller.
Like an inch by.
If you can get C in that, I don't know what you can
Or
get.
just get square tubing.
Or you can get square tubing.
So if we run square tubing across.
Then this thing just sits on it.
Yeah.
How you
And then
gonna-
what would you do
and
for
they're going to
legs?
be welded fast, right? And then bolted through this existing bolt holes.
Yeah.
Think that'll
Will
work.
that make a difference for the legs? Because the legs, if we bought, would you do the same size tube for the legs, or would you want bigger?
I'd like the rail should be about 2-inch square tube.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And that would give you a little more wiggle room.
So
for
whatever we use
wrenching
should
too.
be 2-inch so that it can weld on evenly.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm asking.
So whether you go
So
with a
can
C
you get-
channel or
can-
just square tube,
Well, can you get a flat piece
you can get flat bar.
that long?
Yep.
So if we got 2-inch flat bar to go all the way across,
But then
then our measurements
it's
are
not
gonna
as
be.
solid, right? Remember? It's flexible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's why you need a little structure to it.
So we'll just go. We'll go 2-inch square tubing times 2 for 6 feet,
Right.
and then we'll get 2-inch square tubing for the legs, and we'll subtract
The
1
thickness.
inch because we were measuring to here, and we're using square tubing. So we'll subtract 1 inch from our measurements,
The difference.
right?
Yeah.
The difference will be 1 inch.
Yeah, because we're going to be down here then.
Okay, we're going to be right here.
Plus.
No, we're going to be right here. Okay. No.
2-inch.
This isn't. This is a little more than an inch. This is 1.25 inches.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
It'll
It'll
3/4
be-
of an inch more.
Yeah, exactly. So take 3/4 inch.
And these here, hopefully will just be the structure of the outer wings to give
Yeah.
it strength.
Yeah.
Because I think your rails fit in between here, right? That's what we're assuming.
Yeah.
40, 42 1/4.
Yeah. Hopefully you get the rails in there. It's like 33 or something, 33 and a half.
You shouldn't have a problem getting it in there. Oh, he's gone in areas I've never gone now.
You never put the flat deck on?
I mean, I built one time, but wouldn't I?
Did you?
But like I said, I carved it out
Yeah.
and just, I wasn't even overly. Mine used to come up and hit sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if I had a load on.
So what we've decided on right now, we changed it a few times, but we're gonna take 2x2 square tubing, and we're gonna take a piece of flat steel and put it on the bottom, weld it all the way around the bottom of the tubing, and then we'll drill a hole, like probably a little more than a 1/2 inch, because we're gonna use 1/2 inch bolts. And then we have all our measurements where we want the deck to sit. So we're going to take those legs or supports, put them on here. We're going to cut a little window out of the support legs. And that way we can ratchet in the bolts. So all the legs will be on here. Then we're going to take the bed box of the truck. We're going to lay it on top. No. No.
The rails
Yeah, we're gonna before we put the bed on, we're gonna take 2-inch square tubing by 6 feet, so like the bed rails, and we're gonna lay those on top of the support legs, and then we're gonna tack everything in. So we'll tack the legs to the rails.
Tack with welding.
Yes. Yeah. And then you could take that off and put it on the bed, or take the bed and put it on and tack it all in together, which is more than likely what we'll do. So we'll tack the rails to the bed, and then we'll take everything off, flip it over, and weld it in good. So that's the plan right now. But it's a
And if
lot
it
easier
changes?
to do it that way, because we don't have to that way we don't have to play with getting the holes exactly right. And we don't have to play with getting the measurements for the rails exactly right. It's like putting Legos together, and then tack everything as you go, and then pull it all off, run a bead around everything that needs to be welded, and then we'll take it again, put it on, bolt it all up, and then it's in.
So when does this happen?
That's happening tomorrow, whether we want it or not, as long as we can get steel. The trick right now is we got to get the material. Otherwise, we would probably be doing it right now. But we're going to see if we can get steel and hardware tomorrow.
12 mil.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. So we're not using 1/2-inch bolts. We're using 12 mil bolts by 8 and a quarter or something.
You have to go
like,
bother that
they're not
man
going
at
to
Home
be.
Hardware again?
Yeah. So, and we left the clips in. These are the original clips for the original bed. The hole is obviously a little bigger than this hole, but it's a lot easier because we don't need washers, we don't need nuts.
Is the hole
and
bigger?
it gives us some leeway.
Is the hole bigger because all of the rust?
There's the rust. But it's in decent shape, and we can play with it, and it's nice and easy to work on. And Ken taught me a lot over the last couple of days, so I'm going to try to tackle the rockers, the CV axle, and I may or may not go after the part of the subframe, I think is what you call it. It has a hole in it, so I'm going to try to patch that up, as long as it's not too scary once I take the plate off of it.
With your new
Yeah, so we got a new toy over here.
140 mig pig.
Stay tuned.
Da, da, da.